Hi guys, so in this video I wanted to talk about circular songs. Now a circular song is a song written in such a way that the beginning of the song is disguised and just sounds like a continuation of the end of the song. So this obscures where the song begins and ends when you play it with repetition. So that when you repeat the song, it's difficult to tell where the end is and when the beginning of your next repetition is. Now, this can happen because the melody at the beginning of the song sounds like a continuation of the melody at the end of the song, where the chord progression at the beginning of the song sounds like a continuation of the chord progression at the end of the song, or where the song has an irregular form which makes it sound circular. Now, a traditional jazz song would generally include a turnaround at the end of the song to make it clear that the song has ended and that you're about to go back to the beginning for another repeat and another go through that song. And a typical turnaround could just be a 3-6-2-5 or 1-6-2-5. For example, the last section of Take the A Train goes as follows. So that song's in C major, and right at the end of that song we just have a simple 1-6-2-5 turnaround, which finishes on G7, which is the dominant, the 5 chord of the key that we're in, to go back to the tonic chord on bar 1 when we repeat the song. So a circular song or progression intentionally avoids this kind of turnaround. So for example, let's take a chord progression that goes as follows. E7 to A minor 7, to D minor 7, to G minor 7, to A7, to D minor 7. And now let's say we have a melody on top of that chord progression that goes as follows. Right, so that's a really smooth and nice sounding chord progression that generally just goes down in fifths, starting on the E7, and then a 5-1 at the end. So it sounds like it moves quite smoothly through the chord progression and finishes on the D minor 7. Now, what if I told you that this is actually a fragment from a really beautiful song called Blue and Green by Miles Davis, and that the final bar is actually the D minor 7 in bar 3, and the first bar is actually the G minor 7. So Blue and Green is probably one of the best known circular songs. And it's circular because the melody at the beginning of the song sounds like it's just a continuation of the melody at the end of the song. So in the first 2 bars up here, the melody goes, and then that same little melody or motif repeats just a little bit higher up. So it just sounds like we've taken that same little melody or motif but transposed it up a little bit higher. And that's perfectly ordinary, except for the fact that this little phrase is broken up with the first half being the last bar of the song and the second half being the first bar of the song. And the chord at the beginning of the song is also just a continuation of the chords at the end of the song. So we have an A minor 7 going down a 5th to a D minor 7 and then going down another 5th to a G minor 7. So we're essentially just going down the circle of fifths just with minor 7 chords. And the first chord at the beginning of the song is just a continuation of the chord progression at the end of the song. There's no obvious turnaround to signal that this is the end of the song and that we're about to go into a repeat. And the form of the song also contributes to its circularity. It's actually a 10-bar form, which is an irregular form, because we hear bars in multiples of 4, so we're generally expecting a 12-bar form. And so a 10-bar form sounds unfinished, so that when you go back to the start of the song for a repeat, your ear hears or thinks that we're just continuing through to that normal, regular 12-bar form. Now I'll leave the lead sheet up here in the picture-in-picture, but if I play this song through twice and you either close your eyes or don't look at the lead sheet, then you can't really tell where the song ends and where it begins with a repeat. So it sounds like the song is circular. There's no real obvious beginning or end. It just keeps going round and round and round. Now, another good example of a circular song which uses form to make it circular is Song for My Father by Horace Silver. Now, a standard traditional jazz song form is 32 bars long with an AABA form. But Song for My Father is actually a 24-bar AAB form. So that when you reach the end of the song and go back to the beginning for another repeat, that first A section that you play actually sounds like the final A section of the prior run through or go round. And another great circular song to listen to is Miles Davis's Nefertiti. Now have a listen to the actual recording of this song and try to figure out where the start is and where the end is. And good luck. Cool, and so that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching, and feel free to leave any questions or comments. See ya!